Good evening, distinguished Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. A very warm welcome to meeting number 7 of the Gabbys Online Advanced Toastmasters. I am Toastmaster Renu Kaushal, your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. As your Sergeant at Arms, it's my privilege to set the stage, and I'm going to share some key guidelines that will help us make today's session more smooth, enjoyable, and engaging for everyone. So let's begin with those guidelines. So this meeting is scheduled for a duration of 2 hours, and I urge all of you to stay for the entire duration to get the maximum benefit out of it. During the course of the meeting, your video should be on and the audio should be off. You may unmute yourself when you are called to speak, or you need to speak. There's a word of advice like regarding the topics of sex, religion, and politics. Even though Toastmasters International does not put any restrictions on speaking on these topics, but at our club, we request all speakers and role takers to be mindful and responsible, and please abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. It is our club's mission to provide a supportive and positive learning experience, so in which all members are empowered to develop their communication as well as their leadership skills, so resulting in a greater self-confidence and personal growth. So as your Sergeant at Arms today, I have the special honor of setting the tone of our session. And what better way to begin that with a touch of poetry? So the poetry is inspired by a very playful theme, the partners in crime. This is an original piece which comes straight from the creative pen of our very own Toastmaster Priya. And she's not present today to recite it for herself. So please enjoy while I recite on her behalf. We plotted plans in whispered voices. We stole the cookies without a noise. From silly fights to wild schemes, crazy pranks played as a team. We have fought, we laughed, we've shed the tears. We faced the challenges, conquered fears. Not just by sibling, but my guide, my secret strength, my constant pride. In this life's mess, uphill climb, you will still be my partner in every crime. That was Toastmaster Priya for you. With this, I hand over the virtual stage to our presiding officer and the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Samita Kar, who will take us through the proceedings of the day. But before that, allow me to introduce her to you for the benefit of our guests and visiting Toastmasters. So Toastmaster Samita is a very dynamic, soft skill trainer. She has a dream to empower women leaders. She boosts confidence, communication, and careers. She's an avid storyteller and a passionate traveler. Her suitcase is full of stories, from bathing elephants in Sri Lanka to exploring the ruins of Nalanda. Currently, she is serving as the president of Gabbys Online Toastmasters. Please join your hands and with a big applause, welcome our Toastmaster Samita. Toastmaster Samita, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, thank you. Let us hear for our SAA today, the Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Renu Kaushal. What a beautiful poem by Toastmaster who is not present, but made it a point that her poems can enlighten us every single week. So kudos to her. With this, I declare the Gabbys Online Toastmasters Club meeting number 6 open. I welcome all the members, all the visiting Toastmasters, and the guests to our meeting today. We would love to hear from our guest. If you are a guest here and you want to introduce yourself with a quick 10 to 15 seconds of introduction from where you are, how did you get to know about our Toastmasters meeting? Yes, I can see Kendall. Yes, sir, I can see you, but please you can unmute and speak.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
My name is Brian Edwards.
yes,
I'm currently in Manchester. This is my hometown, and originally from a place called not far from Bangalore, Kola Goldfields. You may have heard of that. My
yes.
father was a miner in the goldfields, and I came to England about 50 years ago. Uh, so I live in Manchester now, and I thought I'm a Toastmaster at various clubs. So I thought I'll pop in and say hi and uh, get familiar with my old hometown of Bangalore. Back to
Thank
you,
you.
Toastmaster today.
Thank you so much, sir. You are welcome. Please stay till the end of the meeting, and we would love to hear your thoughts on our meeting.
Sure, sure.
Uh, we have Sambhavi Naik. Are you a visiting Toastmaster or a guest? Okay, we can't hear you. We'll come back to you.
Language. The style should support the content.
Okay, now we have
Not
a
audio.
member, a new member, and we will we are glad to welcome Toastmaster Chitrangana Singh. Toastmaster Chitrangana Singh, an 11-year corporate champion, passionate traveler, dance enthusiast, and now she has new addition, mom, and an impeccable communicator to her resume. She is a returning Toastmaster. Please welcome her with a round of applause. Toastmaster Chitrangana Singh.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Toastmasters Samita. I'm thrilled to be part of the club and looking forward to learning and um, you know sharing whatever I know, whatever I learned already with the club members, and getting to learn a lot from other members of the club.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
For the interest of the guests who are not Toastmasters, a very quick information about this Toastmasters platform. Toastmasters International, this platform was started by Dr. Ralph S. Medley in 1924. It is over 100 years old. And this was started with the intention of public speaking and leadership. But when we look at it today, we get so much more out of it. Won't you agree with me? Yes. And Gabbies, we are two clubs and one family, which means two meetings. And every single week, we have so many roles to take up and polish our skills. Today's meeting, since I am the Toastmaster of the day, so without wasting much time, I will dive into the theme of today. The theme of today is partners in crime. And I can see that smile in your face when I say partners in crime, because all of you must have been doing something or the other with your either sibling or friends or sometimes even in workplace. And I am sure you are remembering those. So I will be calling you up and I will be asking you to share your partner in crime moments from your life. Be ready with your story. I'll come back and I'll ask. Now, whenever we look at this point of view of doing things alone, it is not very exciting. Even let it be simple, a bar of chocolate. When you have someone with you and you are told that you are not supposed to eat that, and maybe cousins, maybe siblings, friends together, you go and get that. It may be some sweets which are lying in the fridge or somewhere kept, which only point is that you are not allowed to eat it. How fun, exciting is it to plan for it, execute it, eat it, and then, of course, wait. Sometimes it may be that you will be scolded for it, but it is so much fun to be together in that naughtiness. So, my dear Toastmasters, think of those moments, and in a moment, I will come back and ask you to share your stories. Before we proceed for this meeting, for the benefit of the guest, let me tell you the structure of the meeting is that in a regular Toastmasters meeting, we have first the educational session, then we have the prepared speeches, and then the most interesting section, the evaluation. And today we have with us our general evaluator who will keep a close observation on the whole meeting. We have with us none other than Toastmaster Rohit Kumar as our general evaluator, who is a process mining professional at Salonus and president of Cello Toastmasters Club. He is serving as the area director B2 present here, and he combines a passion for technology with strong storytelling and creating motivational content, aiming to inspire and drive through positive change through sincerity and impact. Toastmaster Rohit Kumar, most welcome to our club. Our general evaluator will be supported by the TEL team. Now, who is the TEL team? It is the timer, the evaluator, the listener, and the language evaluator, each playing a key role in helping us improve and grow as communicators. I would urge our language evaluator to share the word of the day in the chat box, and I encourage everyone to use it. Now, every Gabbys Online Advanced Toastmasters Club meeting, the most awaited session is the educational session. Now, when I was talking about the partner in crime, I'm sure many of you must have thought about those days where you might have cooked Maggie and eaten together with your brothers and sisters or cousins, in spite of everyone telling you not to do so. But today, we have someone who will be telling us how good is our Maggie. Is it nutritionally good for us? Is the nutrition good or not? So we have with us a person who will be talking about nutrition. And while she's talking about nutrition, we have our timer, Toastmaster Ashwini, who is working as a manager for corporate partnership at Impact Guru, who will be keeping the time. She will keep us on track. And she has our cards with her. 10 minutes, she'll show the green card. 12 minutes, she'll show the yellow card. And 15 minutes, she'll show the red card. After the educational session, we'll have question answer session. And then we will go for a break. While I spoke of nutrition, you must be wondering, who is speaking about nutrition today? So we have with us Vidya Subramaniam ma'am, a double postgraduate in nutrition sciences with close to 2.5 decades of wide experience in the healthcare sector. She was the lead for the Department of Nutrition in the Cloud9 chain of hospitals, being instrumental in building the department. It gave her a platform to strengthen her passion in women and child health. With their sincere motive of raising the awareness of sound health and mindful eating, she currently heads the department at the Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. Without further ado, let me hand over the virtual stage to Madam Vidya Subramaniam. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, a very good evening, and it gives me a lot of happiness, and I take great pride in addressing this elite group of professionals from multiple genres. I got to know that the theme for today is partners in crime. So let's indulge in the right kind of so called crime. And let me tell you, I'm not here as a scarecrow. So I'm not like, many of us have favorite things to eat and things which we feel like eating the most. And we are only going to see how we have to literally maneuver our eating practices. And I will try to do the best to make sure that it is a memorable toast for all of you, because toast is a very, very nice term. It is associated with happy feelings, and any given day, eating, healthy eating, happy eating is definitely an indispensable part of our Indian culture. May I have the presentation, please? So, are we eating right? This is the topic that, it's a pleasant responsibility which has been thrust on my shoulders to give a bird's eye view on possibly the best eating practices. Now, before I go ahead, I'm sure all of us are aware that we have, multiple days which are celebrated across a year. Like, for example, we have World Health Day, we have World Obesity Day, we have World Heart Day, we have World Environment Day. And if we have to review the slogans which, generally are, which are generally rolled out on these days, it could be like our planet, our health, my right. And for this year, the World Health Day 2025, the theme happens to be Healthy Beginnings, Hopeful Futures. So, healthy beginnings can be a start at any point. It need not necessarily be only now, but from this moment. And I feel that it's very apt for us to be discussing something like this at this juncture, because even the World Obesity Day 2025, which was celebrated on March 4th, happened to, raise the slogan, changing systems, healthier lives. So the spotlight was on a system change, but the system change ideally roots to change at the individual level. Can we move to the next slide, please? The next slide, please. So these are familiar words for us. The previous one, please. The second slide. Yeah, so these are familiar words for us: health, fitness, vitamins, lifestyle, weight, nutrition. So instead of bogging and clogging our heads with too many things, let's look at simplifying the whole theme of eating right. Can we move on to the next slide? We have to be willing to change at any point in time if we want some positive aspect to happen. This whole word called change has a world of meaning to us. So this Adele Davis is a very, very famous nutritionist. She's a very famous writer too. And what does she have to say? She says, we are indeed much more than what we eat, but what we eat can nevertheless help us to be much more than what we are. So the bottom line is, if we have to look at better versions of ourselves, definitely eating healthy food and having the right approach towards eating practices can bring about a whirlwind of change. Can we look at the next slide, please? So this everything starts with a calorie. Calorie is generally a unit of energy. So a calorie counting, in fact, is an essential part of health and fitness, which is not only in India, but around the globe. The next slide, please. The next slide, please. So why is nutrition knowledge important? The nutrition knowledge is important. The previous slide. Nutrition knowledge is important because we need to know certain guidelines because these are guideposts which is going to help us to better destinations. So according to the WHO, the conditions that promote unhealthy eating practices among individuals, what could they be? A lack of adequate health and nutritional knowledge, the acquisition of misinformation about health and nutrition matters. Now this is a very, very revealing and very apt the entire line of acquisition of misinformation, because there are a lot of food fads, there are a lot of blogs which have to claim so many things, but if we have to believe each of it and all of it, and I'm sure our whole understanding of this concept of nutrition can be totally it can become a very confusing one. So when foods are not consumed in quantities commensurate with individuals body needs, malnutrition or overnutrition may set in. So these three I have taken in toto from this WHO guidelines, because we must know what is it that actually typically promotes unhealthy eating practices. So if we have to analyze the roles which nutrients play in promoting health and optimal functioning, definitely some nutrition knowledge, not necessarily fixing on scales, but something that can help us make better choices, or I can put it as mindful choices. The next slide, please. So if you have to know the facts, one of the biggest challenges which is faced by people who follow an Indian diet is access to the calorie count and nutritive value. Because we all want to know, how much can typically, if I have to eat, one bowl of Maggi, how much of calories would I be, actually adding into my diet? And is it good or is it bad for me? So this access, we may not have all the time to take a nutritive value textbook. We have nutritive value textbooks which the stakeholders for national health, like the National Institute of Nutrition. We have also bodies like the Indian Council of Medical Research, which are full-fledged into making sure that we have better nutritional practices to adopt. So they give us numerical scales as to how much of what can bring us what into our daily diet. But nevertheless, the access to it on a daily basis can be very, very challenging given our time crunch. So nutrition drives education and economic growth. So this is the reason why we need to know about nutrition, and it is for nation building and not notion building. So we can't go around certain notions. This may or may not happen. This may be good, may not be good for me. So it has to be the right way of doing things. So Indian food supports immunity, brain function, and several other functions, which is the reason why we need to be supporting what we are eating. And including a wide variety of spices and vegetables, eating local and seasonal vegetables and fruits at the right time. This is something which is very important, which is being advocated. Not sure if we are actually following in letter, but nevertheless, this is something which has to be adapted and adopted according to me. Indian cuisine enjoys a wide range of varieties. So, which is the reason why it may be slightly difficult for the North Indians to always look at rice, whereas the East Indians might find it a breeze to, have a plate of rice with masoor dal. So, in our India, the wonderful Bharat land, if you see, we have wide dietary variations. We have multiple cuisines, so hence the nutritional value will also differ. So this may not be the right platform for us to debate whether East is the best or West is the best. It is about looking what exactly can turn out to be the best for us. Civilizations have always developed based on intuitive knowledge about food and nutrition. So our ancient ancestors never had wall clocks, but nevertheless, they knew it was a very intuitive feeling for them that any kind of eating which had to happen, say post 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., may not be something which can actually get digested way too well. So, one of the key contributing factors for their wonderful health and longevity still happen to be the habit of eating on time, eating less at dinner, sleeping on time, sleeping adequately, and making sure that our breakfasts turn out to be the healthiest meal in the day when we kickstart our metabolism. So it is important for us to look at traditional foods. Many of the times, traditional foods kind of turned away as like because we have them replaced by a lot of foods which have appeared in the market. They happen to be convenience foods, but nevertheless, I think this at this juncture, I would want to definitely, urge each of you to consider traditional foods and keep up some of the traditional rituals and the customs which were followed, because each comes with its meaning and its tremendous value. Can we move to the next slide, please? Why are guidelines important? Because it can be integrated into care pathways, it can be audited, we can benchmark them, and we have up to date guidelines which can actually cater to specific populations, which is why we need to honor many of these guidelines and make sure that we are able to implement maximally whatever is possible. And I'm sure this is some of these guidelines are something which is going to help us. Can we move to the next slide? So what is important is let's make time work for us, because every, like how we say, every morsel counts. Yes, it does. Every choice counts. So eating well is a form of self-respect. This is something which we need to understand and digest this particular fact so that we learn to use our systems rather than abusing it. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is the next question. So, can you train your brain to like healthy foods? The answer is a big yes, because it all lies in the training. The next slide, please. Now, these are findings on current research in India, and I would like to highlight on these. The reason is because, we are becoming world leaders for diabetes and various other non-communicable diseases, which is not a very, healthy or a very heartening thing for us to, look at as far as nation building is concerned. So the findings reflect on aspects like these: that less than 20%, based on research, less than 20% consume 3 portions of fruits and vegetables per day. Less than 25% perform moderate to vigorous physical activity. And the treatment targets in healthy behavior, the adoption of these remains suboptimal. So these happen to be, according to the National Family Health Survey, happens to be major reasons why we have more or less, dwindling health. And we find that youngsters as young as 20 to 25 are ending up in some way or the other in any of the non-communicable diseases, which typically happen to be life-threatening over a period of time. Next slide, please. So, poor nutrition can be an independent risk factor, and this could be because of lack of dietary diversity, poor food quality, when we follow food restrictions, or overindulgence. And this can lead to nutritional inadequacies, weight gain or loss, which could be sudden, and there can be a lowered immunity, which can happen in a sequential fashion, and there can be short term and long term consequences. Short term consequences could be like definitely reflecting as, low immunity, fatigue. Many a times there can be very impending headaches, and there can be bad mood disturbances. The long term consequences can be something vast, like it can be the incidence of any of the non communicable diseases such as diabetes, hypertension. It could be any of the diseases associated with even the cardiac systems. The next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is, I wanted to bring this to your attention. The ICMR has come up with a 2024 standard for an E12 plate, which can come up to almost 2,000 kilocalories. See, gone are the days when we thought that, wheat is a better substitute to rice. Let me make it very, very clear, because these days we are talking about very apt carbohydrate portions, and a lot of importance has been given to the right amount of protein. I'm not here to, pump up the protein and say that, protein powders are a must, that you got to, make sure that you have to add it in your meal on a daily basis. No. For those who are non-vegetarians, it'll be very judicious to make a very nice combination or a very adequate blend of vegetarian and non-vegetarian sources of protein, which can come from, your dals, your pulses. It can come from nuts, it can come from even oil seeds, etc. And as you can see in this E12 plates, you can see the compartmentalization which is happening in a very neat manner. See, the milk and curd is only 300 ml. So if we have to take a typical glass, it would be roughly accounted for 200 ml. And so probably 2.5 glasses is what comes up to 300 ml. So in this, there can be a division with one portion as curd and the other portion can happen to be milk for those who are lactose tolerant. And then you have nuts and seeds, which is 35 grams. So all of us are aware that 1 teaspoon is accounting for 5 grams or 5 ml. So when you say 35 grams, it is 7 teaspoons, which can be a very, very wonderful of a variety of nuts and oil seeds. So the nuts could be ranging from tree nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and it can be oil seeds which are known for their healthy oil content. Like, for example, you can talk about your sunflower seeds, you can talk about sesame, okay, and you can also talk about cucumber seeds, you can talk about pumpkin seeds. So a very nice mixture of these can give you multiple macronutrients to your credit, and that can actually increase the nutritive value of the entire day's meal plan. So you have the, and even when it comes to vegetables and fruits, see, these days am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So the intake of fruits, as per the Indian Council of Medical Research, happens to be only 100 grams. And if you see your vegetable section, there is one portion which is given for your green leafy vegetables. That's like 100 grams, and the other one happens to be your mixed vegetables, which can be your roots and tubers, as well as the combination of other vegetables which can contain a lot of water and other nutrients. So if you look at this wide plate, and if you have to have a perfect understanding, let me put it like this, like, so in a day we make sure that, at least there is, usually when we talk about green leafy vegetables also, we say 100 grams would be like a small katori. Okay, and when we have to talk about, the amount of carbohydrate portion and all that, it comes up to, if you can see here, it is 250 grams. 250 grams would be something like, in a day you can keep it as, one proper katora of rice, and probably 2 to 3 fulkas. Yes, and apart from this, you have this 300 ml of milk, and you have some bit of fruits also in your diet. All this adds up to this 250 grams. It need not typically be only the cereal portion. Okay, and can we move to the next slide, please? So if I have to give you a summary of the guidelines, these are key guidelines and we must be aware of it. I'm not too sure how we have your sustainable development goals. These are, like I should say, gold standard, because this is what is going to help us have better standards of health way down our lives. So you need to look at a variety of foods. What is the primary reason? Because diet diversity is the only way that we are going to entertain a huge like variety of microbiome, or I can call as the healthy bacteria in our gut, which happen to do multiple functions, right from improving our immunity to making us have good memories, and also giving us a protective effect against various non-communicable diseases, so on and so forth. We have almost more than, I should say, 3 lakh different type of bacteria which are inside our tiny guts. But nevertheless, for them to thrive successfully, it is important that we are stress free, it is important that we have good sleep patterns, and it is very important that we look at diet diversity. So if you see here, the other guidelines: eat plenty of vegetables, use fats or oils in moderation. So fats and oils in moderation would be like something like 5 teaspoons a day, which can be a mix of, say, it can be 1 teaspoon of ghee, okay, and it can be 4 teaspoons of any other oil, preferably unrefined. Preferably unrefined. Okay, these days you get cold pressed oils, and I mean, they're available in any and every market across all the cities. So it'll be a good choice for us, to pick any of these and then use it. Not necessarily like, it has to be rice bran oil or sunflower oil. I don't mean to go by brands or names. All I'm saying is, unrefined, then definitely it means less processing, which means less propensity for us to move into, cancer, and as per the current research. Okay, and you choose good quality proteins, adopt a healthy lifestyle, be physically active, and restrict salt intake. So when you say restrict, it is not avoid. So when we say eat, it does not mean indulge. Okay, so there's a very thin line, but a very prominent line of difference between these two words. So when I say restrict salt intake, the World Health Organization till date, over many, many years, they have still stuck on to the dictum of a 5 gram salt intake per day, 5 to 6 grams. Okay, so this 5 to 6 grams is, it just, amounts up to 1 teaspoon, as I was mentioning earlier. So this 1 teaspoon to be spread across different dishes through the day. And I don't mean to say that any intake beyond this is, going to definitely move us into a hypertensive kind of a situation for us. But nevertheless, we're talking about what is necessary for the normal body to function with its various metabolic activities. So if we have to keep these in mind, then these are the kind of food choices we need to look at. The next slide, please. Yeah, yeah. So, of course, minimize the consumption of HFS stands for high fat, sugar, salt, and ultra processed foods. Include nutrient rich foods and read information on food labels to make informed and healthy food choices. I think this is yet another important dictum. And you need to consume safe and clean foods. Drink adequate quantity of water, nothing less than 2 to 2.5 liters per day, and adopt appropriate pre cooking and cooking methods. Can we move to the next slide? Can we move to the next slide, please? So, care for the core. If you have to glow and grow from within, you have to curb the bad carbs, you have to love the salad, oust the packed foods, use salt in moderation, drink water liberally, nudge in some nuts, introduce traditional foods, say a big no to sugar, exercise, enjoy, and elevate your thoughts. Once you elevate your thoughts and you move to one selfless thought and one selfless act a day, definitely, like how you say, an apple a day makes the doctor away, makes the doctor move away. Same way, a selfless thought a day can literally help you to keep at least one part of your disease away. That is something which I have felt very, very strongly and I've seen in my years of practice. Yes, the last few slides, please. Next one. Next one. So, adding health to your years, the mantra can be, as far as possible, maintain your body mass index to be less than 23. The universal standards talk about 24 as the normal body mass index, but as per the 1 in 4 increase, in the incidence of obesity in the Indian soil, we would want to typically focus on a body mass index less than 23. Okay, so old is gold. So keep up some of the traditional practices of eating in terms of healthy breakfast, as I mentioned, early dinners, a good solid, like sleep of 7 to 8 hours, where, we give an hour for, keeping us away from the mobile and all other disturbing thoughts and activities during the course of the day. We set our mind towards a healthy qualitative sleep. And then you have to choose your foods wisely and you have to laugh every single day. So the next slide, please. The next slide. Yes, after all, we are born to love. We are born to love ourselves, and that's how we will be able to live in a very, very happy and a healthy fashion. So, if you customize your food choices, adopt and adapt to the ones. If you're going to be changing a few, reflect if it's something that's suiting you, and you relax yourself well. You experience happiness and you make sure that you enjoy every single day. So this is the care which you have to, which is at the core. The care is at the core, but it is caring for yourself. So caring for yourself means loving yourself. The more you love yourself, I'm sure that you will be able to deliver the best for those around you. So it is important that you keep yourself happy, for which food, or rather the rightful choices, happens to be a very integral, indispensable, inseparable part. The next one, please. The next slide. So you have to seize the day and make sure that you every minute you utilize. I basically come from a system which talks about selfless love and unconditional love and selfless service. Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences, and Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai is the founder of this institute, and I take this opportunity to invite all of you to come to our hospital to see love, selfless love, unconditional love in action. There may be people of any caste and any creed who can step in, and they don't need to pay a single penny for the treatment, medical treatment, which they take up. And we have the best of doctors and the best of expertise who are ready to render qualitative service. And the whole thing is rendered totally free of cost. So it is my privilege to invite each of you to this hospital. It is, of course, in the rural hinterland at the foothills of Nandi. And I thank you for giving me this platform to share some of my thoughts and insights as far as healthy food choices are concerned. The floor can be open for any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for such an inspiring. Yes, the reaction buttons are there. Please use it freely, and let us give a round of applause to Madam Vidya Subramaniam for such a wonderful, uh, thought-provoking, uh, I should say, inspiring to make us think. She spoke about, looking at the label, which we usually don't do. And I loved her saying that you should laugh every day. That is one of the, I never expected from a nutrition expert to say that you have to laugh every day. The floor is open for questions. Please post your questions in the chat so that we can quickly take up and we can ask madam for some, whatever thoughts or queries you have, you can post it,
I
or you
could
can
see
raise it.
Ashwini had raised her hand. Even Toastmaster
Ritu.
Ritu has raised her hand.
Toastmaster Ritu?
Yes, good
Yes.
evening. My question is, I know you've mentioned about a balanced meal, and that sounds really good on paper, but I don't think we get enough, uh, all our dietary requirements may not be met through a normal meal. So for people in their 40s and 50s, or ladies who are going through menopause, I'll specifically stick to my specific condition, so perimenopause. Um, what other supplements you recommend? Because there is so much information out there, and I've really not been able to pinpoint whether it's magnesium, whether it's calcium, whether it's protein, whether it's vitamin B12, and the list goes on. So like I said, fish oil, there's like a whole list, and I'm just popping in everything, but I'm not sure which one should I take, and what is your take on that? That's one part. And two is this new rage of kapli atta has been getting a lot of traction. So what are your thoughts on kapli atta? So that would be my question.
Okay. Okay. So the first, as far as the perimenopause is concerned, whenever we talk about the concept of supplementation, so whether it is a protein supplement or whether it happens to be medicinal supplements, these can never be over the counter. These can never be over the counter, because whatever I discussed during the course of this 20 minutes is something which has been researched and presented for a specific set of population. So what I mean to say, if you have to adapt and adopt this on an individual basis, you have to see whether it is suiting you. So when we come to supplementation also, we'll have to look at multiple things, like what is your body mass index. Any obstetrician or and gynecologist whom you may go to would want to typically analyze it in a very, very scientific manner. So what are typically your biochemical findings looking like? Does it really present the picture of a hypocalcemia? Like, you are really having a drastic reduction in the calcium levels. If it is typically having an effect on, you're feeling very fatigued and so many other symptoms which could be suggestive of the necessity for intervening with medicinal supplements. So, like directly popping in supplements may not be, definitely not the right thing to do. Okay, so it is. And one more thing is, when we go to any doctor, it is like many people, they only want to hear what they want to hear. Okay, I mean, rather many times what happens, okay, you're okay with supplements. If there's some doctor who says, no, 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 it's okay to supplement, many of them may feel yes about it, no about it. But you stick on to one single person. Like, supposing you're going to one particular doctor, you make sure that you go to the same doctor unless and until there's something which is, not so okay. And, so you stick on to specific, like guidelines from the doctor whom you go. That is first thing. And second thing about this flour, which you are telling, kapli flour. So as a nutritionist, see, one thing is wheat flour in general, multigrain flour, we have two things. Okay, so the days that we are living in, as per my observation, even in the rural areas, if we see, chapati is not typically happening to be the food even for diabetics. Okay, let me be very honest and let me be very open about it. Whether it is the pesticide that goes in the like cultivation of these cereal grains, or whether it is a lack in the fertility of the soil, what is typically the factor that we need to attribute to things like this? So if you ask me, as far as flours are concerned, those who can afford definitely going for almond flour and some of those pricey flours, but typically we want to advise something like a multigrain flour. So if it is wheat flour, what we say, you buy the direct wheat and then you give it in the mill, and then try as much as possible to take that if it is practically feasible for you. If not, then you look at a very nice blend of 3 4 types of flour, so you are able to get in small doses of other what is there in one is not there in the other. That is something which we know, because all five fingers are not the same. So the creation of God itself is like that. So what you get in rice, you may not typically find in wheat. What you find in wheat may not be typically reflected in ragi. So it is a good practice to look at multigrain flour rather than having any specific brands. So you just keep it as the bottom line. Okay, multigrain is slightly like better, scores better in the times that we are living in, the lifestyles that we are practicing. Okay, for this point in time, this is something which is workable, and it can help us. And any specific practice which we want to follow, let me be very clear, it's not about a day or two. We will have to wait and watch for a month or two, probably many times over a period of 3 or 4 months, for us to even find some change reflecting, be it in our weight, or be it in the way we are able to look at things. So in managing our moods, to taking care of our waistlines, etc.
So well said that have patience, uh, do the whatever you want to do for 2 months to actually see the change. And she was talking about khapli, that is something which is gluten free. They say that it is. So now, Dhanashree Shivkumar, the question is that can eating right food deal with emotional imbalances?
um, See, emotional imbalance many times can be because of the personality trait also. First,
Mhm.
okay, because not all of us are made the same. So
Mhm.
the second is, so you have a combination of nature and nurture influencing our emotional behavior. The next aspect is, we will also have to look at our quality of sleep, because many times sleep has always been, I should say, there's been the importance has been totally subdued. But in every surging research in the current day, qualitative sleep tops. So 8 hours is the standard recommendation, and 8 hours doesn't come up to 12 in the midnight to 8 a.m. in the morning. It typically talks about getting to bed at something like 9:30, 10 p.m. and waking up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I mean, I'm as far as medical research and scientific research is concerned, I would like to make it very clear, because 10 p.m. to 12 in the midnight I mean, that is the period when your body literally looks at revamping your metabolism, trying to prepare it for the next day. And there are a lot of emotional baggage which it tries to put it totally in the background. So if we have to have a very happy start in the day, and we want to look at looking at a brighter sunshine and having a brighter day, it is, according to me, this 8 hours of sleep is quintessential. The next thing is, make sure that your dinner has happened at the right time, and you've eaten the right kind of food, not loaded yourself. And also that we don't indulge in taking too much of water, because usually what happens when we take too much water, we may have to end up having
Yes.
small breaks in the night, so our sleep can get disturbed, and once again getting back to that kind of qualitative sleep many times can be challenging, especially as we age. So putting it all together, mindful eating, okay, making sure that we choose more of vegetarian versions of the food that we eat, especially in the night time, having early dinners. And for those who are finding it very very difficult to as far as digestion is concerned, or probably some bouts of acidity, heartburn, and episodes like these troubling them, this traditional concept of having jeera water, or probably a combination of jeera, ajwain, and soap, which can be mildly dry roasted, powdered, and then a small pinch of this to be had with probably half glass of warm water, can be a very good relief. So these are some of the practices which can be adopted.
Adopted. Thank you. And next we have Devashi Roy. The query is that timing of fruit intake, like generally after morning, after tea. So is that the correct way, or does the timings need to change? What is the correct time of having fruits?
Now, fruit generally falls into category of snack. No, on a daily basis, if you have to look at the consumption of an average, person, generally it falls into the category of a snack. Okay. Now, for those who are fasting, many times even having a robusta or a green skin banana can be a thing, especially for those who are fasting. Many times in the elderly population who want to keep it as 2 square meals a day, they would want to conveniently keep it as one fruit. And many times the natural forms of medicine, like for example we have naturopathy, and many of these streams of medicine, they advocate having very very light dinners. Many a times they even go on to the concept of having fruit, but it is like towards say 7 p.m, finish it off at that time. Okay, so if you ask me, the standard recommendation can be something like a mid-morning snack, or it can like find its way maybe at 5 p.m in the evening. A small portion of, or a small bowl of fruit. It can be a mixture of different fruits, and if anybody has less of iron, which is reflected as a low hemoglobin count, definitely having citrus fruits can, on a regular basis, at least one citrus fruit a day, can slowly help in improvising the hemoglobin count over a period of a month or two, along with having iron rich foods.
So the next question we have is from our distinguished Toastmaster Rajnikant Reddy. He is asking, the world is changing, the lifestyle is also changing. With the current urban lifestyle, where working is very demanding and accommodating the global time zones, what diet can be suggested which works better? Because they have to stay up late at night, and they have to work. So what type of diet can work best?
What type of diet, in the sense, like, see, generally we are talking about, if you especially we want to talk about like nighttime, like if you're going to be staying awake, still the healthier practice can still be winding up your dinner by 8 p.m. And in the nighttime, if it's really necessary, probably a couple of cups of green tea can be a sensible thing to do. Okay, so because generally eating after 10 p.m or 12 midnight is not something that comes as a recommendation, to be very honest. So if you typically ask me, we have to respect the circadian rhythm, because our biological clock is set to work in a specific manner. As much as possible, as we move closer to adopting to this circadian rhythm, it can help us to keep our systems and their working, and the internal management of our metabolic activities more in alignment with prevention of any disease condition. Okay, so this is a very standard recommendation that we generally say, that try to wind up your dinner latest by at least 8 p.m. Okay, so that your body remains fit and active.
Yes, I can see many of them have raised their hands, and we are getting questions in the chat. So we will announce a break now for 5 minutes, but we can continue with the question answer session. So it is 23 right now. So it's a 5 minutes break. So 8:28 we will come back, but we will continue with the question answer session. So those who have questions can please wait. So, guest Sagar, he's asking, what are your thoughts on Brian Johnson diet?
Okay, so I mean, generally, to be very honest, we don't advocate anything very hard and fast. So I don't think I would have much to share on that, because we don't practice that in at least in the hospital where we are working. We don't practice that.
Yeah. Now, our Toastmaster Chitrangana Singh is asking a very, very important question. That is, a mom of 2 months old. So 8 hours sleep is a distant dream. So what would you suggest to be done to maintain emotional stability?
One aspect is emotional stability. Okay, so it is like generally what we say, the standard recommendation is whenever the baby sleeps, sleep along with the baby so that you get at least that much of rest. Okay, so that we'll have to work around that in a sensible manner. So we have sufficient help at hand so that it supports you in such a way that you try your best to sleep along whenever the baby is sleeping. So that much of it can kind of help you to manage your systems internally. So in terms of influencing your appetite, your hunger levels, satiety levels, as well as the emotional stability, because generally, at least in the Indian scenario, the kind of food which is given for a lactating mother will not have any of those harsh or irritant spices typically. And much of importance is laid to encouragement of foods which aid in better digestion, like for example using asafoetida, or using jeera, using carom seeds, using fennel seeds, using fenugreek seeds. These are things which take care of the tummy. So whenever there is no abdominal distension and your appetite is good and you're able to have very regulated bowel movements, and your milk supply in terms of the baby feeling satiated after the feed, all this is taken care of, then you're satisfied basically with yourself, in total. So we have to try and see how we can achieve that. So the food which you eat should give you the necessary energy so that you're able to propel your system towards production of adequate breast milk, as well as helping in promoting immunity. So like we should be able to achieve that, and that is not an impossible task. It's about mindful food choices, as I said. And the grandmother's wisdom is generally to have a glass of hot milk, that is advocated as something which helps in promoting the secretion of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter which is secreted into the brain, and that helps in calming the mind. So when we talk about restful sleep, our even to this day, if we have to ask our grandmother or great grandmother, this would be one of their course, this thing strategy, telling that okay, before you go to bed, have a glass of warm milk. So some of these things we can adopt, but specifically there are no foods which can actually promote emotional stability as such. As I said, timing, and then whenever we eat our meal, we have to make sure that we chew the meal well so that it allows the system to digest it comfortably. Okay, these are small things, but they have their independent and wonderful roles to play.
It is so interesting to note that while we are talking of nutrition, you spoke about grandmothers. That means the country that we live in has inherently given us different types of food and when to eat what. You were talking about lactating mothers. It is such a stressful period for them. And going back to the grandmother to, have that hot glass of milk, it was really eye-opening session. Uh, Lots of fad diets come into being. But when you spoke about nutrition, what is exactly needed, it was really wonderful. Thank you so much. I can see many hands raised. You all can please connect with her and she will definitely give you all the answers. Because as the time is, we need to start a session. Thank you. Thank you so much, madam, for such a wonderful, eye-opening session for us where we learned a lot, and definitely we would like to hear from you again. Please do visit our club again. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and a very good night to all of you. In looking at, I'm once again reiterating healthy beginnings, and we are going to have hopeful futures. So I hope there are some few takeaways from this session, and we're very happy that all of you could join in this particular session. Thank you for all the encouragement and the motivation. Wishing you all well from the Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Now we come back to our session, and I hope you all had a good break refreshed yourself, and then you have come back for the next session, next part of the session. Starting now, I will take up those stories of how you have gone with your partner in crime and what have you done. Who would like to share their story? Can I see some hands up? I'm sure you had a lot of partner in crime story. So once it so happened that it was just after Diwali, a few of the moms were left. Me and my brother, elder to me by 2 years, fought over everything. But when it came to this bomb, we had a brilliant idea. In the afternoon, when everyone was sleeping, we went to the courtyard and decided to burst the bomb. That was not all. We thought we can enhance the sound of a chocolate bomb by putting it inside a can. We were very sure that once we light, it bursts and no one will be able to understand who has done the crime. How naive we were, really. So in middle of the afternoon, everyone having a nice good sleep, we go, we place the bomb, we place the container, and boom, it goes high up into the air, falls down, rattles, makes a ruckus. The sound is so loud. Everyone coming in, asking what happened, who did it? And we tried to say we didn't do it. My brother pointed to me and I pointed back to him. Of course, the faces of our elders were nothing sort of, murderers. That who does this all in the afternoon? And then the best thing of all, when one of the adults, one of my uncles, came and said, "Do you know what would happen if there was a mishap? You could burn your hand." And in a small voice, I tried telling him, "But it's not burned. Don't scold me for something which might have happened." So that was my brother and me, crime partners in crime, trying to do stuff and then laugh about it years later. Still today, during Diwali, I look at him and he looks at me, and we give that smile to one another, saying, chocolate bomb. So, who will share their story of their partner in crime? I'm sure you must be having. Yes, sir, please go ahead. Sir, you are on mute. Sir, you are on mute.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was at boarding school in Bangalore many, many years ago, perhaps long before some of you were born, I studied at St. Joseph's Boarding School, Museum Road. Some of you may know that school. And of course, being a boarder at the school, it was a very strict upbringing run by Jesuit priests. And we had to go to Mass every morning. The Mass was at 7 a.m. We had to get up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning. And of course, being India and being Bangalore, we slept under mosquito nets. The mosquito nets had hooks on them. They were hung from wires that went across the dormitory, and they tucked into the mattresses. The bell rang at 5:30 a.m. by the prefect, who was also a novice priest. He then put the bell down, and we had to be out of the bed with our little aluminium basins, running downstairs to wash our face and clean our teeth. He would walk down the dormitory literally 5 minutes after he'd rung the bell. And if anybody was still struggling or still in bed, when he walked down, you got what they call 6 of the best, which was a cane on your backside. The elder boys of the dormitory, being mischievous and experienced, we used to tuck the net in very, very tight under the mattresses of the younger boys or the newer intakes, which meant that when the bell rang in the morning, they were unable to dislodge the net from under the mattress, and they got six of the best when the prefect walked down the dorm. Not only that, we also painted their face with black polish in the night when they were sleeping, which meant that the following morning, if they did not wash their faces thoroughly well, they walked down the aisle at Mass to go and get communion, being Catholic school. And as they walked back, we all saw the black polish still on their face. So we did this until we were found out by the prefect, and then we started getting six of the best. But I recall my days at St. Joseph's with very, very happy memories. Brigade Road, South Parade, Museum Road. Oh, happy times, happy times. I left the school, and immediately after leaving school, my dad put me on a boat to England, and he gave me 39 rupees, which was in those days a lot of money. I think my dad was only earning 400 rupees a month in the mines. But came to England with £3, which was 39 rupees, and there's another lifeline for me. So here I am, 50 years later in England.
Yes. See, what a wonderful story. So when you have people along with you to be your partner in crime, even after so many years, you remember and you feel so happy about it, that yes, we did something mischievous.
We still have St. Joseph's Old Boys Association in London, which we meet every year.
Yes. Yeah. So we are jumping on to the next session of our meeting, that is the prepared speeches. And the first speaker is, can I have the first evaluators in the room? Evaluator,
I'm here.
Ritu George, you are there, and then
Yes, sure.
yes,
Second evaluator, sure.
Smriti, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm the speaker.
Yeah. I couldn't see you. Sorry. Yeah. So, Toastmasters Smriti, the immediate past president of Gabbys Online Toastmasters Club. She is a certified soft skill trainer, B2B enterprise sales professional with 10 plus years of experience, passionate about growth through communication and leadership. She has held multiple executive roles in Toastmasters, in the Toastmasters Club, a two-time Triple Crown awardee, and now she's on a fifth pathway. Wow. She is on her path, dynamic leadership, level 1, project 4, evaluation and feedback. This is her first speech. Project objective is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Timer, please note it is 5 to 7 minutes. So 5 minutes will be the green card, 6 minutes will be the yellow card, and 7 minutes will be the red card. Toastmaster Smriti, the watering can. The watering can, Toastmaster Smriti.
Every morning at exactly 7:05, I see something unusual. A woman, a balcony, and a watering can. Now you might be thinking, so what, Smriti? People do water their plants. What unusual about the same? But trust me, what I saw was not just gardening. It was a ritual. A ritual which taught me something I did not expect to learn. That too from a watering can. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests of the meeting, honestly, raise your hand if you have ever talked to your plants. Okay, I see few guilty smile and few raised hands in the meeting room for people who did not. What if not watering plants? What if not the plants? You may have a slight conversation with your coffee mug, something like, "Wake me up, please." We all do in our own ways. But let me take you back to the woman, the balcony, and the watering can. Every morning, every morning, I would watch my neighbor from my window with full spark in my eyes, her talking to the plants, and she had also named them. "Good morning, Lily. You're blooming beautifully today. Basil, stand up straight and please keep smiling. Tulip, stop leaning on the rose. Please give her some space. And you, little Daisy, definitely you could use a haircut." She did not water them. She chatted with them. She asked about their day, their routine, asked them to suggest water, and even scolded them for looking droopy. And you know what the most amazing one? They all seemed to listen to her. Finally, one day, curiously, I asked her, "Mrs. Thomas, do they really hear you?" To which she politely replied, "Yes, my dear, they do. And most importantly, I hear me." I did not fully understand what exactly she wanted to say until one particular useless, stressful, and crucial week of my life. One week. One week where my inbox was overflowing. My to-do list having their own to-do list. My lunch breaks had become, well, sniffing coffee in between the Zoom calls. That afternoon, in the rare act of self care, I decided to step away from my desk. I grabbed my coffee mug, sat by the window, and just watched the street. Just watched the street. Nothing extraordinary happened. A male one, the courier guy carrying too many packages in their hand, a kid chasing the balloon randomly, a woman laughing while conversing on the call, and somewhere from far distance, some annoying sound of trumpet added to my day. Please don't laugh. Everybody is not as musically talented like Mr. Toastmaster Shravan in our meeting room. 5 minutes later, I surprisingly felt lighter about my presence. Not because of the things which I saw, not because my problem suddenly vanished, but because I had paused long enough to notice my life and schedule again. That's when I understood my neighbor, Mrs. Thomas. Her watering can was not just about plants. It was something beyond it. It was something bigger than that. It was about noticing the moments. It was about anchoring with the present. And it was about finding joy from the ordinary, tucked quietly inside the small, tiny, whiny ones in our life. So I ask you, what's your watering can? What's that small, simple thing that gives you the pause in your long day? Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's randomly doodling on the corner of your notebook while attending a Zoom meeting. Don't worry, your secrets are safe with me. And maybe it's about playing fetch with your dog or a cat. Or maybe it's about something simple like which you understand, reorganizing your closet just to see your favorite dress once again. Whatever it may be, it is not waste of your time. Hence, I decided to keep my watering can now with me. Well, it does not always hold water. Sometimes it holds a cup of coffee. Sometimes it's about a simple 5-minute walk. Sometimes it's a conversation with my dog, and sometimes it's simply watching the world go by. But whenever I find time, I use it. I remember the lessons, the spark, the crystal energy which all started every morning at exactly 7:05. The woman, the balcony, and the watering can. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Big round of applause. What a beautiful speech it was. It reminded us to take a pause. Sometimes that is all that we need. The spark comes back to our eyes, the spark in our life, just by taking a pause. Very well presented. We have our next speaker, and before that, evaluator for speaker 2, Toastmaster Sachin
Yeah, I'm present.
and Toastmaster Gauri Agarwal,
Yes, I'm there.
speaker Puneet. Now, Puneet is a dynamic force in the world of ideas and inspiration. He's a producer and host of the Galata podcast, a show that lives up to its name. Galata means lively noise or ruckus in Kannada. Through the powerful conversation with change makers and entrepreneurs, Puneet explores the chaos behind the creation, uncovering stories of ambition, team building, and relentless pursuit of value. Known for his sharp insights and contagious energy, Puneet has quickly become a motivational voice for young dreamers, encouraging them to start early and think big. Toastmaster Puneet, do you need an audio video check?
I'm good. I'm good.
His path is innovative planning, level 5, project 1, high performance leadership. This is also a 5 to 7 minute speech. Timer, please note. Toastmaster Puneet, each eye with startup, each eye with startup, Toastmaster Puneet.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. 3 years ago, I got heavily involved with the startup world, and I wanted to attend as many events as I could. And in a city like Bangalore, you have hundreds of events happening every week, and I would be present everywhere. As days passed, events happened, I wanted to narrow down on some events that I could attend on a regular basis. And that's how, on a Saturday evening, I ended up at Kormangla, the headquarters of all funded startups in Bangalore, at an event. And I found it fascinating. I found it like a home. Every Saturday, I would turn up. And it was on a similar timeline of 6:30 to 8:30. I would show up for the next entire year without missing a week. And coming from Toastmasters background, I acted as a sergeant at arms, helping the event with mic running, helping the guests with water, making sure things are happening right, mic check, stuff like that. A year into the meetup, I realized one of the hosts was not able to make it. And that's when I got to meet the organizer of this event, who asked me to step in last minute and volunteer and run the meeting. Well, the organization that I'm talking about is Ichai. It's a global community of enablers, startup founders, enthusiasts, and they organize meetups across the globe, 30 to 30 plus cities every week, where startup founders, venture capitalists, enthusiasts come together, brainstorm, discuss ideas and stuff. And their meeting had a very similar format. It had 3 parts. The first part was all about a panel discussion with successful founders, usually Shark Tank founders, funded startup founders, or founders with great exits. The second part was a Q&A session with the audience. And the third part was open networking where everybody could meet and interact with each other. And I was taken to it like a duck takes to a water because of my Toastmasters background. I ran that meeting a little nervous, but having the understanding of what and how things work, and it went smoothly without any hiccup. The next 2 years, I went on to host and volunteer for 26 meetups, being on the rink side with Shark Tank funded guests, sometimes multi-millionaires and once even a billionaire, all on a cozy terrace on the top of a 5-floor building in Kormangla. Volunteering for Ichai had been immensely helpful for me beyond the Toastmasters fraternity because I got to see the back of the screen working of a community being built that was global as well. And as a leader for the 26 weeks, I was able to focus on building tools which would include everyone that attended. I created these cutesy name cards, which are nothing but just hello and their first names in all the Indian languages possible. Vanakkam, Khemcho, Namaste, Namaskara. I had this mouth organ with me as a way to start the meetup and a transition points between the segments in the meetup. And most of all, I had tools like slido.com, which I used during the Q&A session to include members that were not confident enough to raise a question, but nevertheless wanted to ask something. And that is how I was able to take the meetings from an okay gathering to a gathering that was packed house. I mean, we start at 6, and by 6:15, if you would have had entered on a Saturday evening, you would have just enough space to stand. The terrace, a 1,200 square feet terrace, would be packed with 70 to 80 enthusiasts that were eager to learn. And I, as a volunteer host, would ensure that they were all included. Throughout this entire process, I realized a few aspects. The most important aspect in volunteering is about showing up and serving. For the first year, where I did not have a formal volunteering role, I would just show up and serve as a sergeant arms, assumed sergeant arms. But the next 2 years, and where I hosted 26 meetups, I would come rain, come traffic, come whatever, I would be there an hour before the meeting would begin, make sure everything is in place, all things are sorted, have the water, the coffee, everything sorted for the guests, the mic checked. Once the attendees or the members, and it was free for all, it was almost like an NGO. The guests would come in, I would make sure to facilitate conversations between the shy ones, the reluctant ones, and the overexcited and enthusiastic ones. In this volunteering experience, I looked at myself as a bridge between successful founders, venture capitalists, and the overall startup ecosystem. Most of all, I realized that if I can just show up and serve, the community will keep turning up week after week. The biggest success I have is now when I go in, and the meetings still happen every Saturdays, and I go in every now and then when I can. People still remember vividly how amazing it was when I was leading the meetings. So that is the joy that I live with. I encourage you all as well to take up a volunteering initiative for as long as you can and do it on a consistent basis. It will make you better, just like it did to me. And whenever and however, make sure you show up and you serve. Thank you, and back to the Toastmaster of the day.
A big round of applause for such a lovely speech. We came to know so much about the startup world from your speech. Now it's time for me to hand over the stage to the general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Rohit Kumar.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible? First of all, let me do an audio
Yes,
check.
you are.
Okay, great. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. My name is Rohit Kumar. Today, I am playing the role of general evaluator, or you can call me like partner in crime for making this meeting much better. So, my role was to observe everything, the structure, the timing, energy, and all the small touches that will make this meeting more shine in the future. But before I move ahead with my tail team, I would like to go for the evaluation of these speeches. Would like to call the two evaluators for the first speech. But before I call them, I would like to introduce them one by one. The evaluator one for who will be evaluating speaker Toastmaster Smoothies. Evaluator one, Ritu George. So Ritu is an image consultant, personal branding coach, grooming and etiquette expert, a passionate yoga teacher, a former hotelier with sales background, and a past president of the Gabbys Toastmaster Club. She firmly believes that a well-groomed outer persona coupled with superior interpersonal skill is a winning combination in any field. So over to you, Toastmaster Ritu, for evaluating Toastmaster Smriti.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Smriti, what a delightful speech. You're a proficient and eloquent speaker, no doubt there. You started your speech very well. I liked how you built an imagery about this neighbor lady, 7 a.m., the watering can. You dived straight into it with your title, and you were bang on with that. From the word go, you had your speech under control. It was a very engaging speech, all in all. You were connected with your audience as well. You kept posing questions to them. Do you talk to your plants? Have you talked to your plants? What is your watering can? So at multiple points, you connected with your audience. So that is a very positive point I saw. Your speech had a lot of elements. There was drama, there was humor. You brought in the humor when you spoke about the lady talking to her plants, about her day-to-day life, asking questions, naming the plants. So it was humorous. You brought in the drama with creating, changing your tones, your bringing in your body language, etc. So it was a full package. Now, where I feel you could have brought in a change, you mentioned a lot of parallels to your specific watering cans, whether it's a cup of coffee, whether it's looking out of your window. I wish you had sort of brought in that one parallel that was only your highlight watering can, which we could have taken away. That would have really struck a chord with everybody. While you asked all of us, what is your watering can, it got us thinking. That's a great way to engage the audience. But having said that, I would like to see that one. And towards the end, I felt you kind of lost that control that you had from the word go. Towards the end, a little bit of that control was a little lost through the multiple options you gave us. All in all, I felt your speech was outstanding. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to you, and I'm sure there are lots of takeaways. But if you bring in just that one specific focus for you, that might make a deep impact, because this is all in all your story. This is meant to be your watering can. So I would like to hear that one particular watering can, if you could bring in that. But kudos to you. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritu, for the evaluation. So now I would like to call the second evaluator. So before I call the second evaluator, just want to give a heads up here that in Gabby, we basically try to follow the two evaluation structure. And this dual evaluator system basically ensures a more comprehensive and focused evaluation experience, which you might not have seen in the other club. So here, the idea is that to maintain the clarity and effectiveness, and also the scope of each evaluator feedback is clearly defined. I can hear some echoes. If someone is speaking, can you please put yourself on mute? So the evaluator one will focus on what was said, like assessing the content, structure, flow, and the message of the speech. And the evaluator two mostly will focus on how it was said, observing the speaker's voice modulation, tone, facial expression, gestures, and overall all delivery style. So with that, I'd like to introduce the second evaluator for the day for the speaker Smriti. The second evaluator is Toastmaster 7, Kumar V. He is an experienced IT professional who focused on regulatory compliance and IT system governance with over 3+ years in Toastmasters International, having served as a club president and immediate past president of the TCS Maitri Toastmaster Club in Pune. He plays flute and violin in pursuing a master's in yoga and has strong interest in human and animal behavioral psychology. I would like to now invite Toastmaster 7 to evaluate speaker Toastmaster Smriti. Over to you, Toastmaster 7.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohit. Toastmaster Smriti, your speech was truly enchanting, like a fairy tale brought to life, rich with meaningful morals. The way you delivered it was absolutely fabulous, captivating the audience from start to finish. I genuinely found myself simply enjoying your presentation with little to critic. That said, as well, we strive to grow and refine ourselves as Toastmasters. So, I would like to offer a gentle challenge. Try stepping into the shoes of an aphorist, which means someone who can distill powerful ideas into just a few words. It's a skill that could elevate your already impressive storytelling. Also, considering that your pathway is dynamic leadership, aligning your speech topics more closely with visionary communication themes, where you vividly paint ideas and events for your audience. So, I believe this story more apt for the visionary communication pathway. If you could make your message even more impactful, a topic tied more directly to dynamic leadership might bring additional depth and relevance to your project. So that's my feedback on this. Keep inspiring. Your potential is immense. I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster 7, for your evaluation. Now it's time to call upon the third evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Sachin Jaswal, who will be evaluating speaker Toastmaster Puneet Sharma Puneet Swarna. Before I call Sachin, quick intro about Sachin, Toastmaster Sachin. He is a finance professional with over 23 years of experience across IT, healthcare, biotech startups, retail, e-commerce, and FMCG sectors. He is a chartered accountant and an alumnus of IIM Bangalore and Columbia Business School, currently serving as a Chief Financial Officer at AZA Fashions Private Limited in Mumbai. He oversees global finance operations for the US and India. Toastmaster Sachin Jaswar, over to you for evaluating speaker Toastmaster Puneet.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohit Kumar, and a very warm welcome and congratulations to Toastmaster Puneet Surana for a wonderful speech. I must say it was a great speech, and we all went to the world of startups and and volunteers. You took us to that world. Now, when you opened the speech, when you started the speech, you were playing a musical instrument. That's a beautiful way of starting any speech, and I have never seen that earlier. This is the first time have seen somebody starting a speech by playing an instrument. It's a beautiful way of doing. And then in the opening second, you spoke about your zeal of attending, startup events. You attended almost 100 startup events, especially on Saturdays, which shows your interest. Then in the body section, you spoke about e-chai. What is e-chai? You explained very well to the audience. It's a community of startups, where the venture capitalists and the founders, they all meet together. And then you spoke about how you got the opportunity to organize the meetings. And then you spoke about the important aspect of volunteering, which was very important. The first was show up and serving, and then you and your Toastmaster experience helped you. You acted as a sergeant at arms there organize the meetings, arrived early before the meetings, and then organize everything. And then how you acted as a bridge between successes, which was the the venture capitalists and all the startups. So how you acted as a bridge. So all the three important aspects of volunteering very well captured. And then the conclusion was really great, where you gave a message that to everyone that take the volunteering initiative and show up. Most important is show up. So all well done. You started with the opening, had a beautiful body, and then you migrated to conclusion, which was well done, and the message was very clear that take up the voluntary initiative. Now, if I come to the few key elements, first was the specific objectives. Yes, you have made the objectives of the speech very relevant to audience. The speech was very much relevant. As I said in the beginning, we immediately got transported to the world of startups and volunteering. And you gave an overview of what happens in that world, which actually for me is not so new. But yes, you gave a very good brief, and for other members and guests, it's a good overview. And then talking about the logical flow, as I said in the beginning, there was a logical flow. The opening was great, the body was well structured with a good content, and the conclusion with a message. There was a proper logical flow, which I really liked. And as I must say, the thought was quite original. We have not heard earlier about this kind of speech where somebody comes and talks about his experience about volunteering and how he got attracted to this world. So all well done. And I must say content was really good. Now only one area where I would want you to work on. You spoke about the word Vanakkam, Namaskara in Kannada. You must explain that in English, because there are a lot of lot of members who don't understand Kannada. Even I don't understand Kannada. So that's the only improvisation which you need to do. Apart from that, it was a great speech. You had a great body language and always a smile on your face. Hats off, and a great speech, Toastmaster Punit Surana. With this, I hand over the stage to the G Toastmaster Rohit Kumar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sachin, for a thorough evaluation. And next, I'd like to call the evaluator 4 for the day for this speaker, Toastmaster Puneet. Toastmaster Gauri Agarwal. Quick intro about Gauri. Gauri is a chartered accountant turned image consultant and soft skill trainer, helping companies address people management challenges. As a leadership trainer and life coach, she guides transformation journeys through her brand, thebrand.self. She also incorporates tarot as a tool for self-awareness and personal growth. Over to you, Toastmaster Gauri, to evaluate the speaker, Toastmaster Puneet.
I love evaluating anyone who shows up in a suit. And that is because it adds to your persona and to your body language. It gives you a structure, it just straightens your posture. And the first visual is extremely impactful. The first thing that came out of your mouth was actually a sound from the mouth organ. But the second thing that came out of your mouth was your voice. And the natural bass of your voice is very pleasant. So the first impression for me was all about a great persona, which came across through your visual presence as well as your voice. When you went on to speak, I noticed a great use of gestures. When you spoke about the first part of the meeting, the second part of the meeting, when you do that, you reinforce the spoken word. And it's easier for your audience to relish and remember the points that you said. So that was beautifully done, Toastmaster Puneet. You have a very pleasant smile as well. Now, that adds not just to your persona, but also when you were speaking about yourself, it told me how proud you were of that achievement and how proud you were to be there at that event with founders and startups like people from Shark Tank. So that was coming across, and you also very strongly recommended us to join such platforms, and all that came through your expressions, because suddenly you widened your eyes, you opened your eyes, and that emphasis came through. Now, how do I make this persona
take from excellent to exemplary. I have a couple of recommendations for you. Now, if you would have stood up, is when I would have been able to see the whole of you. And I think you would, if you would have moved around, your the gestures would have been exaggerated and hence been a little more impactful, in my opinion. My second recommendation to you is when it comes to emoting, and emoting in terms of word stress as well as gestures. Exaggerate your gestures. Everything was happening just here in your body frame. How about taking it a little outside your body? And when it comes to word stress, let me give you an example. So I felt a little bit of monotony when it came to volume modulation. You said the meeting starts at 6. By 6:15, there's just enough space for you to stand. Now, every sentence has some words that are important for you as a speaker, and why not stress on that? So how about you saying we start at 6, and by 6:15, there's just enough space for all of us to stand because there are 70 to 80 enthusiasts. So Toastmaster Puneet, while your presence is extremely impactful and I'm charmed by it, I would only recommend you to emote a little more with gestures and word stress, and people will remember you. Like you said, I will remember you too. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gauri, for your detailed evaluation. Indeed, it was a great meeting altogether. I was closely monitoring the meeting today. But before I give my comprehensive report on the entire proceedings, I would like to invite my tail team who will be helping me here to give their detailed report. So I'd like to call Toastmaster Aswani in, who is the timer for the day, to share her report. Toastmaster Aswani, over to you for the timer report.
Hi, I'm here. I'm just like just finishing the typing on the file.
No worries.
Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah, great. So all the speakers are on time. Coming to the evaluation part, we have one disqualification where Toastmaster Sachin has taken more than 3 minutes 30 seconds. The time taken by Toastmaster Sachin is 3 minutes 50 seconds. So apart from that, all the speakers and evaluators are qualified. I'm sharing this report on the chat box for your reference. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aswani, for your brief report. Moving next, I would like to invite language evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Mamta Jain, to share the report. Over to you, Toastmaster Mamta.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohit. Good evening, everyone. Let me share the report. Today's meeting was an enriching experience from the language perspective. I paid attention to the use of grammar, filler words, rhetorical devices, and the word of the day, spark. Today, Toastmaster Smita used the metaphor thought-provoking, emotional stability, and Toastmaster Smith used rituals, looking droopy, and the phrase like anchoring with the present and watching the world go by. And Toastmaster Puneet used the metaphor a bridge between success. And Toastmaster Sarvan used rich with meaningful morals. And our educational speaker, Dr. Vidya, used allied group of professionals, memorable toast, let's make the world with for us, adapt and adopt and adapt, qualitative sleep, and anaphors like World Health Day, Obesity Day, and World Heart Day. And the phrases used by her is nation building, not notion building. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. And I noticed the filler word like were used by few speakers, affecting the flow of speech. And the word of the day was used by Toastmaster Samita. Well done. In conclusion, language is more than words. It is how we inspire, connect, and leave an impression. Let's continue to be mindful of how we express ourselves, because every word holds the power to spark a message from ordinary to extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mamta, for your observations. Finally, on my team is listener of the day, Toastmaster Meenakshi Girish. I would like to call Toastmaster Meenakshi Girish for her quick observations for the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Meenakshi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rohit, and thank you to everybody else for paying attention if you did during the entire meeting. Now, as the listener for the day, I've been paying very close attention to what people have said during different parts of the meeting, be it the educational sessions, speeches, or anything uttered in the middle. And now let's see how well everybody else has been listening to the same. Now, the first question I have, please either raise your hand or you can just unmute yourself if nobody else is answering. The first question is, what is the title of the poem narrated by the Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Renu? Anyone? Toastmaster Renu is not allowed to tell the answer. This was what we opened the meeting with, guys. I mean, it's very obvious once you know what the answer is. Give me a random guess, maybe. Anybody wants to take a random guess what it could be?
About friendship?
That's close. About friendship. Okay, I'll give you a hint. What is literally the theme of the day?
Partner in crime.
Partner in crime.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks
So
for
the
spoon-feeding
poem
this
narrated by Toastmaster Renu was Partners in Crime. And the second question, complete the sentence for me. Our educational speaker for today mentioned that the theme for this year is Healthy Beginnings dash Futures. What is the word there? Healthy Beginnings dash Futures.
Wealthy future?
Sorry, Toastmaster Meeta, I didn't catch that.
Wealthy future?
No, it's something that starts with an H.
Healthy beginning, healthy future.
No, it's not the same word, but you're close. It does begin with a H.
Hygiene? H means hygiene?
Healing future? Healing? I don't know.
No, but you're getting really
Happy,
close.
happy.
No, not happy.
Hygiene. Hygiene. No hygiene.
I hope nobody is Googling the answer.
No, where will Google?
Is it hopeful?
Okay. Yes, that's correct. We have at least one person listening. It's Healthy Beginnings, Hopeful Futures. Now, quickly on to the next question. This is something that I found really interesting, which the guest speaker kept repeating 2-3 times. How much gut bacteria do we have in our gut? How much bacteria do we have? It's a very high number.
More than 3 lakhs?
3 lakh is the correct answer. Good job, Toastmaster Samita. Now, what is the inside joke that Toastmaster Samita and her sibling have? What is the inside joke she mentioned?
Chocolate bomb.
Exactly. Perfect. Now we are getting started. I just have 2 or 3 more questions. I just have 2 questions left. At what time every day does Toastmaster Smriti see the woman with the watering can? Every morning.
7.
7:05.
7.
7:05.
7.
7:05. 7:05 is the exact answer. And the last question, which is actually 2 parts. Can you complete this quote? Nation building, not dash building.
Notion.
Notion.
Awesome. And I'll give you a brownie point if you can tell me who said this.
With Dr. Vidya.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. So while we did have a very rough start, the ending with the remaining questions went really well. I'm a very happy listener for the day, and it's awesome that you have all been paying attention. Thank you for the time, and back to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meenakshi. It was really engaging and wonderful to see such kind of stuff as a listener, and how much we are paying attention is very much important to that to check on the members listening to the meeting. Now it's time for a quick detailed report from my end, though I think we are on time, but yes, I'd like to take a few moments to share the meeting reports. So the meeting started on time. The good part of the meeting is that there's a 15-minute buffer, which I always see that, to Gabby allow the role taker to join the meeting before, so that they can align on the role takers and have a proper agenda intact, which is a great thing. And that's one of the takeaway which I think all the meetings should have, in order to streamline their meeting proceedings. Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Renu. Again, kudos to her, first of all. I always like her energy whenever she starts the meeting, right? It's great to have that energy in the room when you set the tone of the meeting, because SAA plays a crucial role to set the tone of the meeting. And the way she started the meeting and try to bring in the theme with that poem, Partner in Crime and the rhyme, it was very well received by the audience, though we were not able to recollect the title of the poem as Toastmaster Meenakshi was asking us, but we were very much involved in that. So very well done, Toastmaster Renu. And one thing also I noticed that you also played a dual role like a Zoom moderator for the day, if I'm not wrong. So you were very much on point while doing the stuff like bringing the speaker on the spotlight. It's not a very easy task, right? Playing a dual role in the meeting and then doing a technical stuff. So I like your technical expertise while addressing this meeting. So again, kudos to you. Now coming to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Samita. Again, amazing way to introduce the theme. I like the way you acknowledge the guest and made them feel comfortable. I can see Sir from Manchester very actively participating in all these open questions and also sharing his story. And it feels like that he is part of our Gabby Toastmaster, meeting. And I never felt that he is in Manchester and we're sitting in India. So that's the good part of the TMOD role, where you make the guest feel like home, and that was very well done. And I really like that approach. Also, Toastmaster Samita, you bring back the members' attention to the theme after the break by asking those stories of the part with the theme, which was partner in crime. By starting, I mean, initially the folks were not opening up, and then you started sharing your story. That's again another way of doing it. Like if no one in the room taking that lead, then you are becoming the torch bearer and you are sharing your story, and which motivates other to come forward and share their story. In fact, the story shared by Sir was also very much well connected, and we were laughing and smiling throughout these sessions. So kudos to you, Toastmaster Samita, for making this more engaging. Now coming to the speakers, I will give a very quick review, though the evaluation was very much on point by all the evaluator. It was very detailed and thorough, but a few of the observation which was taken from my side, I noted it down. So speaker number 1, Toastmaster Smoothie, watering can. Very well used of the prompt while delivering the speech. Giving a speech on camera in virtual setting is not that much easy, right? But then you had a very good gestures, as already mentioned by the evaluator. You have a very good voice modulation, and the way you interacted with the audience by asking those questions and sharing that conversation with the plant. The tone was like we all were laughing. I can see many smiling faces on the camera, and the impact of your speech was so deep that even the audience were able to recollect the timing when you were watering the plant, and that is on dot. So you also gave a call to CTA, call to action to your speech at the end, which is very much important for an audience to have something as a takeaway. So very well done, Toastmaster Smoothie, on your speech. I think it was L1P4. And one key takeaway, for you as Toastmaster, your evaluator one Toastmaster. Sorry, I have to double. Yeah, Ritu, she said that you need to also bring in one parallel with you in terms of defining it. So that is one of the key takeaway which you can take it. But apart from that, it was very well spoken and nice content. So kudos to you. And now moving ahead to Toastmaster Puneet. Very rare I have seen in the speech that the speaker is starting with playing some instrument. And as rightly pointed out by Toastmaster Sachin, that you had started your speech by doing that, which is a very rare combination. And I was surprised to see that. I was initially thinking that what will be the content next. The speaker is starting and setting the tone by playing some instrument here, and then you talk about your journey or passion towards the startup. Toastmaster Puneet, one good thing about you is that you have very good voice. I mean, you can utilize it. You can channelize your voice. I mean, the voice quality you have is really nice. And one thing which I found while you were sharing your I think name card, if I'm not wrong, it was not visible to me. Maybe because of the background. So whenever you are trying to give a speech where you involve certain prompt, I would just give a suggestion that make sure that you have a maybe check on those devices before you start delivering, because that will have an impact to the audience, and we wanted to see that, right? But overall, a very well drafted and crafted speech, very well curated, Toastmasters Puneet. One suggestion for you is that if you can use your hand gesture and if you can stand while delivering it, even on the camera, that will be more, that will be great for the audience to at least connect. So overall, for the evaluator, I mean, for all the four evaluator, I could not find anything as a feedback to give, because you were very much thorough in your report. In fact, Toastmaster Sachin were very much deeply involved in giving the report that he overshot the time. But it happens, right? When you really try to admire and get into the speeches of your target speaker, you feel like to share your emotions, and that was flowing in your evaluation, Toastmaster Sachin. So it's fine. I mean, you can be on time a bit, but yes, it was a very well thorough evaluation by all the four evaluators. Very well done. Now coming to my team, like the timer, and so one feedback to Toastmaster Aswini, who is our timer for the day, that it would be great if you can come on the camera. I know you are playing this timer role and you have to show the timer card and all. But once I think that is done, you can at least be on camera while sharing your report. In that way, it will be great for everyone to at least see you and acknowledge the the important role which you have played, because it's a very tough role to keep a track of time throughout the meeting. But very well done on keeping a track of time and saying that report. Toastmaster Mamta, good report. Language evaluator, another, I would say, a great initiative by Gabby, wherein you guys used to share the detailed report in form of Excel file, and try to capture all the essence of a typical language in terms of the grammar aspect and other and other part of it, other aspect of the grammar. So very well done. Toastmaster Meenakshi, the listener role. I think I have seen in Gabby that this role is for me one of the role where I can always see that it is being done in a different way. A nice way to do. Last time there was certain questionnaire where certain questions were popping up and we have to fill that in a survey form. But today, the way you ask the questions, open questions to all the audience, I was like, we were very much trying to recall those concepts. So you kept us engaged. It was a very nice a way of playing the role. So I always say that it's not the role you are playing, the way you play the role makes the difference, right? So the 8 or 9 questions which you have asked throughout this entire meeting, you were the one who observed all the speakers and even the educational speakers to the core. I mean, we try to answer it in the last wing of your questions, but then I like your concentration towards the entire meeting, which is very much important, and playing such role in this way can definitely motivate the other members to take up the role and come forward and make this role more interactive. So I believe that you made this role more amazing the way it is. So I think overall it was a great meeting, as always I see in the Gabby, and few of the feedback which I've said here, maybe if we can work on those, it would be great. And indeed, the partner in crime is amazing theme, and I wish that all of us have that partner in our life which will help us to excel in a positive way, and and make this life a more beautiful place to live in. With that, I would like to hand over the stage to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Samita Kar. Over to you, Toastmaster Samita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohit. A big round of applause for our general evaluator for that in-depth evaluation. And definitely your observations will keep in mind in the next meeting. Partners in crime. We all remember the mischief. We all remember the naughtiness. We all remember what we have done. But there are certain partners in crime which is silent. What do I mean by silent? In Indian families, we don't talk about grief, about financial problems, about problems that is faced in the family. We are not supposed to go out and talk about it. But our siblings are the ones who silently endure with us. They are our partners in crime. A knowing smile, sitting together, not even speaking a word, but we know no need of explanation of how things are at home. Maybe you wanted something, a shoe maybe, or a bag. It's not possible. The financial crunch is real. You look at your brother or sister and maybe not say anything, but the eyes speak. You know, I know. And the matter ends there. This type of connect that we have makes our relationship much stronger, much better. Yes, the fun elements are important. So is the silent partner in crime. That's all for today as the T-mod. Let us go to that part, which just for reminder's sake, I will remind you once again. What is that? Of course, the contest season is around the corner, and Gabbys Online Advanced Toastmasters Club will host its table topic contest on 9th September and the humorous speech contest on 16th September. Gabby will follow with the table topic and humorous both on 13th of September. So all the members, please gear up. Just register yourself and prepare for those contests, because humorous speech contest is a new entrant. Go for it. Many of you might think that, okay, I do not have a humor bone in my body, doesn't matter. That is what the club meeting is all about. Try it out. If not the first time, second time, definitely you will get. But the first step is important, to break that barrier and then smile and say, okay, let me try something new. Frightening, yes. Rewarding, much more. So I'm sure everyone will be putting up their names, practicing, and getting there. What we have to do now? We have to immediately vote for who are our favorite speakers, all the role takers, in fact, and who are those special ones. Till the voting is going on, I would like to ask our guest. Do we see a guest? Yes, Shekhar, are you a guest or a visiting Toastmaster?
I'm the guest. I'm a guest and a Toastmaster.
Can you please unmute and speak, Shekhar?
Yeah, could you hear me? I'm unmuted. Could you hear me?
Prapurna, are you there? Okay, sir, you want to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Prapurna, you were there in the meeting. Can you give us a feedback for maybe 30 seconds about how you felt about the meeting?
Hi, ma'am. I'm Prapurna. I'm from Gurgaon Orators Toastmasters Club. So this meeting is very well structured, and I really like the part you are having two evaluation. Double evaluation is very good, so that we'll get different perspectives of how we can do evaluation, and the listener role is also very nice. So overall, the meeting is very nice. I really miss the starting part of Rama Subramanian ma'am. So, but I just listened it for a few minutes. I missed it, but overall the meeting is very good.
May I know from where did you hear about our club?
So I'm part of this Toastmasters Connect Global. So there, this meeting was posted. So I attended from there.
Okay, thank you so much. Please do keep on visiting. Shekhar,
Thank you.
yes, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, please unmute, and if you can come on camera and give us a feedback.
Sumita, can you hear me? I think last
Yes,
time
yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So it was a very great meeting today and attending. Always Gabbys meeting feels me good and learnings from prepared speeches or from the team order theme. And I felt, as earlier speaker told, like having double evaluation gives a in-depth clarity about the speaker actually. So it was good, and I learned a lot of things from this, and looking forward to give a speech in this actually. So
That is
thanks.
lovely. That is lovely. If we could motivate you, we will definitely be wanting to hear more from you. And please do visit our club and do come in for the speech that you are planning and just take the next step.
And just one question actually, Puneet.
Yes.
Puneet is there, right? Is this from? Does he from Gavis Toastmaster Club? Puneet Surana.
He is. He is.
Okay, we met in LDP actually, so I didn't know that time actually. So I just
Okay. Okay.
good. Thank you.
Okay. Do visit. And from our GE, we would like to hear, sir. Toastmaster Rohit, please give us a feedback.
I think I spoke a lot. I gave a lot of feedback, and thank you, Toastmaster Samita, for having me here as a GE. Indeed, as I always say that I love to be in Gabby Online Advanced Toastmaster meeting because I like the structure of the meeting, the way meeting start with an educational session and then followed by the prepared speeches and the tail team, which is again one of the amazing concept here. I like the listener role, the language evaluator. I mean, these are the new learning which you bring on the table, and I think it's a lot of learning for the other members, maybe the guest or the Toastmaster from the different club. They can inculcate and incorporate those learning. And at the end of the day, the goal in the whole and sole goal of ours is to learn and grow together, right? So definitely this 2 hour, I know this is a very exhaustive meeting, 7:30 to 9:30, but then when you leave from this meeting, you have certain key takeaways, which we can definitely have, which is important and for our learning and growth. So love to be here again. And thank you for, making this meeting so much innovative in terms the structure and the other aspect of it. So thanks to you and team.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now, most awaited moment, the role takers. Do we have any guesses for the auxiliary role taker? Yes. And none other than our listener, Minakshi. A round
Very well done.
applause for our listeners who make it so interesting. The best evaluator. The best evaluator is Toastmaster Ritu George. Congratulations. And best speaker is our, who is it? Toastmaster Smriti. And the main role taker of today's evening is our general evaluator, Toastmaster Rohit. A big round of applause for all the person who have bagged the best role takers. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you again for being in this meeting, and I hereby declare the meeting closed.
Thank you. Good night,